Good evening, Yvonne. Well, Julian Assange said that he travelled a long way to be here, both literally and figuratively, and he gave a description of what it has been like to adjust, but he said he wasn't yet fully equipped to go into too much detail and I guess hinting that perhaps that would happen down the track once he's had some more time to recover. He said that it was a long way for him to come, and the transition between confinement in a maximum security prison to appearing before the top human rights body in Europe, which represents millions of people, he said, was quite a profound shift in his life. At times when he was speaking, he became emotional. He sometimes stopped to just observe the room, frequently stopped to clear his throat. Let's take a listen to some of what he said.
The sense of isolation for years in a small cell is difficult to convey. It strips away one's sense of self, leaving only the raw essence of existence.
And Mazoe, Julian Assange was scathing of US authorities. What was his assessment of how he was treated?
Yes, he said the CIA aggressively pursued him, not just him, but also his wife, Stella Assange, as well as representatives from WikiLeaks. He said at one stage there was even an attempt by the CIA to seek a DNA sample from his 6-month-old baby's nappy. He said there was a dramatic shift in the landscape when Donald Trump took over, and that he appointed what he called the wolves in MAGA clothing, the Make America Great Again hats. He was referring to Mike Pompeo as CIA director and William Barr as the Attorney General. He said despite everything that he endured, though, he did this because it was in the public interest. He has no regrets. He says he's not free today because of the system, but because he pleaded guilty to journalism.
The criminalisation of news-gathering activities is a threat to investigative journalism everywhere. I was formally convicted by a foreign power for asking for, receiving and publishing truthful information about that power.
And Mazoe, there were some emotional moments, as you mentioned, even some light moments during the hearing.
Julian Assange was asked how he's adjusting, and he spoke at times about his family. Let's take a listen to the way he got emotional, but also was able to make light of some of his adjustments with family.
Becoming a father again to children who have grown up without me. Becoming a husband again. Even dealing with a mother-in-law. These are trying family issues. No, she's a very lovely woman.
Well, Mazoe, the hearing today lasted 90 minutes. What happens next?
Well, the Council of Europe's Committee for Legal Affairs and Human Rights had already been investigating Julian Assange's detention and conviction. They'd already released a draft report concluding that he was a political prisoner and making recommendations for the UK and the US to further investigate whether his treatment was inhumane. What the Council will now do is continue debating. They're in there right now, continuing to debate and discuss Julian Assange's case. They'll do that also tomorrow. Then they will put together their final resolution and report to deliver to those countries. I spoke briefly to the chair of the committee, who told me it's really important that they get the terminology right, particularly around a political prisoner, because there is a precise legal definition of this, and there's also important work to be done around recommendations that they make. They want to make sure that their report is absolutely legally correct, accurate, that they cross all their T's and dot all their I's, so that when the report lands on the desks of the ministers, the chair told me, that it's read, it's not thrown in the bin.